Good day, Mzansi, and welcome back to Defense in Focus. We have Brigadier General Donovan Chetty again with us on this segment, and we are delving deeper in what he does for the Defense Force today. General, how are you?
I'm great, thanks, Kiboni.
We're so grateful to have you back, but we want you to tell us now from moving from Durban all the way to being Director Corporate Staff Service. How did we get here?
It's not a post I applied for. I think our principals decide in the defense force, who would be suitable for a post. So in 2023 December, I saw the bulletin, and I was quite surprised, from going from being in charge of a test flight and development base, Air Force Base Overberg, where I was very much in the operational test flight and development scene, to becoming the spokesperson for the Air Force, so to say. And now, as Director Corporate Staff Services, I have different segments under my delegation, which include foreign relations, corporate staff services to the Chief of the Air Force, and also with other streams of media and everything corporate related to the South African Air Force.
So, General, you're bringing something that's very interesting to us, saying that you have foreign relation. There was an incident in 2024 with the exercise IPSIMA, where India, Brazil, and South Africa came and did a naval exercise. What was your involvement there?
So, to be very honest, I wasn't involved in IPSIMA. As Director Corporate Staff Services, I was busy coordinating and hosting the Newcastle Air Show at the time. So IPSIMA was not within my domain at all.
How did you get involved then?
So being Director Corporate Staff Services and one of my delegations being to be in charge of foreign relations, all the defense attaches of foreign countries in the country here work with me and my team under SAF Foreign Relations. So I received a call at approximately 10 to 10 on that Saturday morning, while I was busy with the Chief of the Air Force, who was next to me at the air show, requesting urgent assistance because he could not get a hold of any of the other agencies to help him with a aeromedical rescue of a warrant officer from the Brazilian Navy. The ship was inbound to South Africa to take part in exercise IPSIMA. And so I then jumped into maritime pilot mode, also being someone who worked at Easterplaat, knew how it worked, and immediately starting connecting all the right people so that this aeromedical rescue could take place. Which meant at the same time, the Navy was having their Navy Festival. So the communication gap between the embassy, Simonstown and Easterplaat eventually got breached because of me getting involved, so intervening as such. And eventually we managed to, with all the agencies being informed and being prepared and ready, the member was eventually rescued. And he was taken to Grooterskie Hospital, where he survived.
Yo, congratulations. I think that's a big responsibility to take on, because I would just imagine, should anything go wrong, who was going to take the fall?
No, definitely it would probably have been me. Thank God it didn't. But it comes from being experienced in that environment and of knowing who to contact and what they should be done, or what should be done in order for the rescue to flow. Which meant that at the time, the Navy had to be involved, the Air Force had to be involved, and everybody had to be connected to each other some way. So maintaining the communication between everybody and also dealing with language barriers. Not that I know Portuguese, but a little goes a long way. And it comes from being deployed in Mozambique as a maritime pilot for a long time. So you pick up the language and the broken English, Portuguese, you tend to decipher what needs to be done. So I had to get important information like the heading of the ship, the sea state, its last port of call, the next port of call, the ID document, because we had to take the member to a state hospital, and managed to do all of those things And because of the communication gap, we only had WhatsApp because we were sitting in Newcastle. So getting a hold of a Navy network that I've had for all these years to help me get a hold of Flag Officer Fleet, to eventually task the ACC, and then manage to get a hold of Air Force Command Post to then sort out the nitty-gritties of overflight clearance, the base being ready. I was in contact with the base commander. He then put his people on standby, which were on standby. That was what they normally do. So that was my involvement, almost like an over and above from my normal duty to set up a rescue by putting all parties in touch with each other and making sure that it was a fluid exercise from start to finish.
General, I'm starting to imagine that this was set up just for you, because somebody that was in the Navy, that knows all the Navy protocol, ends up in the Air Force and knows all the Air Force protocol at this moment, see them come together. I think it's one to be appreciated and awarded. And speaking about awards, a little birdie tells me that you received some accolades that came with this act of selflessness and not even shifting the responsibility. Please speak to us about these awards.
So first of all, I was very surprised. I was not expectant of the awards that I received. I had no idea of the citation or the motivation or anything of that sort. I was informed a month before the time. Congratulations, you have been conferred by the President of Brazil these two merit awards, which is the Santos Dumont, which is an Air Force Merit Medal from Brazil, and also the Order de Merito, which is the Naval Higher Order Merit Medal. I was obviously very surprised, very humbled, but there was also protocol and process to follow. Luckily, being the soldier I am, I went directly to my chief first to say, General, this is happening, what do I do? And then we waited for all the documentation and everything to come through, and then I received the award. It's supposed to be handed over on the 13th of June, which commemorates the end of the war in Brazil. But we wanted our chief to be there, and he wasn't present at the time. So we sought an alternative date, which then happened then on the 18th of last month.
Congratulations. I can imagine out of a lot of soldiers within the South African National Defence Force, you're probably the only one that possesses both these medals. How does that make you feel?
It's very humbling. But I must say that I need to also make mention of those people who are on the ground that assisted this endeavor. It was not all Don Chetty. As I say, without them, I was nothing. It was just for me to coordinate and put everything together and made sure that everybody was in the loop. So yes, it was a combined effort between Air Force, Navy, those elements, and then me sitting in Newcastle. So I'm very grateful and humble that I was singled out for the award because I had to ask, why. I received the reason that if it was not for my intervention, none of the other things would have happened, and the member could have possibly died. So the Brazilian embassy sought in that manner to request and write the citation and the motivation towards the receiving of the award.
Sure. General, this is very inspirational, and I remember the conversations we've had on the previous episode where your leadership style comes shining again, and we see you moving in these fields and making extra effort. What motivation are you giving to the young pilot that's joining the Air Force, the young leading seaman that's joining the Navy, or even somebody in the Army that are still coming up their ranks? What's your motivation in terms of training, in terms of just achieving the things that they really want to achieve within the organization?
I think, first of all, when someone joins this organization, you must have purpose. This is not a job. It's not a career. It's more than that. It's a calling. When I fly an aeroplane, or when I used to fly an aeroplane, it was more a case of me serving my country in the best way I knew possible. And with that comes a lot of responsibility, where the leadership comes in, accountability. So those young men and women who are wanting to join the Defense Force, they have lost the plot if they're looking for a job. It is a calling. And, after many years in this Defense Force and after having lots of hours of flying, obviously there was a lot of temptation when the civilian sector wants to poach you and make you offers. And if you start thinking about remuneration, then you've lost the plot also. We are not soldiers because, we do it for money. We are soldiers because we want to serve our country the best way we know. So once that is indoctrinated in you at a young age, and you carry that throughout your career, you will naturally lead. You will plan, organize, lead, and control. And that is the fundamentals of being a leader and a manager. It is taught at Air Force College that way. And, to back that up, the South African Air Force, with the saying of "Free the Eagle," also has a fantastic value system where you have to and those value system include accountability, service before self, integrity, human dignity, and those values, all they do is they propel you forward in your leadership and in your leadership style, because that are the values you carry through. The morals and values and the principles of the organization take over, and that's what you focus on. But also investment in the future, and that investment being the youngsters that are coming in now. They need to be shown the right way. They need to be led the right way. They need to be inspired. They need to be given confidence that whoever's leading them has done this before. He's walked the walk. He knows what he's talking about. So you cannot be a commander and say, I've got 20 years of experience, but you don't. 20 years of experience takes 20 years.
Yeah.
So those youngsters must not expect to be a leader in day one. It will come with time.
Yeah.
It comes with patience. It comes with investment. It comes with commitment.
Yeah.
And to wear and don your uniform every day must be the best feeling ever.
Sure. General, at the moment you are put at command post, acting as there at command post. Can you speak to us about your role that you do there before I let you go? Because I need to squeeze everything out of you before you leave.
So earlier this year, the appointed commander of the command post had gone to China. So Chief of the Air Force asked me if I could please assume the post of acting officer commanding Air Force Command Post. Air Force Command Post is the heartbeat of the Air Force. It's where our tasking agency is. We task further down to the different levels. So from the land to Air Force assets, Air Force personnel, we task from Air Force Command Post. But it's also in charge of the presidential suite, which tasks the presidential squadron, when we receive tasks from the president's office, and also in support of joint operations and then internal exercises and training and everything else works from the command post. So it was a great experience for me to be there and enjoyed it thoroughly, exercising my operational command. Because aviation is what I've been trained into and what I've been trained for. So both when it came to maritime support, with maritime aeroplanes, it was very easy for me to conceptualize what the Navy wanted. And having that good network in the Navy of knowing who to call and when to call also assisted me in executing my task as the acting OC of Air Force Command Post. So I would miss it. But in the same breath, I'm also looking forward to my people at DCSS, who I love, and getting back into the corporate world, of which I've learned how to deal with and how to execute. Because, in the principles of war, the seventh one is flexibility.
Yeah.
So you have to be flexible in this organization as well. So I'm really looking forward to going back and serving at DCSS as the director.
We have learned so much from you in this past 2 episodes, and I really hope that you continue leaving a very indelible legacy in the Defense Force, and also just wishing you ahead and doing even greater things than you have already done within the organization. So there it is, Mzansi. We've had again Brigadier General Donovan Chetty, who has spoken to us about great strides that he has done within the Defense Force and leaving us so inspired And I just hope you are inspired that you also go reach for your dreams and pursue them with your heart passion. Thank you so much, Mzansi. My name is Gibone Ramasimung, and I had the awesome privilege of interviewing a great man of honor today.